We are opening a file today that starts, well, ironically, it starts with silence. It's a true crime deep dive, but it's about more than just a single act of violence. It's about um, a 20-year psychological spiral that ended brutally in the farmland of Osin, Giza, Egypt. Try to picture this. It's 2013. The morning sun is just starting to cut through the cool air over these fields just outside the residential part of Osim. Locals are out, walking the dirt tracks, starting their day, and then someone spots it, something really out of place.
Right, a rough burlap sack just discarded near a drainage ditch.
Exactly. And it's bulky, clearly heavy, and the fabric has these dark stains, dried blood, unmistakably.
And that sight, that grim discovery, is what kicks off the entire investigation into, well, 2 decades of betrayal.
So investigators get there, they process the scene. What do they actually find inside?
They find the victim, a man looked to be in his 40s, and the forensic evidence immediately paints a pretty terrifying picture. He'd been shot twice. Yes. One round hit his shoulder, probably, meant to incapacitate him. But the second shot, the fatal one, was directly to the head.
Okay, so cause of death is clear. But there were immediate puzzles, weren't there?
Oh, profound ones. First, despite 2 gunshots being fired, nobody nearby, and this is a residential area, remember, nobody reported hearing anything overnight.
Which is strange. It suggests either, really good sound dampening, or maybe it happened in the dead of night.
Yeah.
Very precisely.
Exactly. The victim had 0 identification on him. Even stranger, nobody in the local area recognized his face.
So a complete mystery man. Violently killed, silently dumped.
Precisely. And the initial question was just, who could do something like this? So efficient, yet seemingly quite intimate.
And the answers they eventually found, they uncovered this history so corrosive, so defined by transaction instead of any kind of partnership, that it actually earned a chilling local name.
Which translates literally as give and take.
Right. But in this context, give and take wasn't about compromise or meeting halfway. It was about currency, control, and just utter moral collapse. So our mission today is to trace that descent. How did financial ambition warp into this lethal dependency? To really understand the murder in 2013, we actually need to go way back.
Yeah, we need to rewind 2 full decades. We're still in Osim, but now it's 1993. And we meet Mona. She's just 17 years old, working these long, hard hours in a local factory.
And what was she like back then?
Mona was, she was defined by ambition. She wasn't going to settle for factory life. She was focused on self-improvement, seemed physically mature for her age, and she already saw herself miles away from that factory floor.
You had a goal.
A very specific one. Save enough money to fund her real dream, which was opening her own business.
Okay. And then there's Ahmed. He enters the picture here.
Yes, working right alongside her in the same factory. Ahmed was 22, and he shared that same simmering dissatisfaction with their situation. They were both young, both felt they deserved better.
So they connected over that shared feeling.
They did. They spent long hours together, bonding over this idea that they were meant for more than the assembly line. Ahmed was apparently quite taken with Mona's maturity and her, fierce drive.
But the relationship, the foundation they built, it wasn't exactly typical, was it?
No, not at all. Structurally unsound, you could say, right from the start. After about a year of courtship, when marriage came up, Mona's view of Ahmed was brutally practical.
How so?
She didn't see a life partner in the romantic sense. She saw a financial platform. Her strategy was crystal clear. She needed a husband, someone reliable enough to cover the basic living costs, rent, food, utilities.
So that her money?
Exactly, so that her earnings and savings could be completely protected, strictly set aside to fund her actual ambition, opening her own hair salon.
Wow. Okay, so it's a partnership, but a very transactional one.
Extremely. And they formalized it. The plan was joint, immediate, get married, pool their savings, quit the factory jobs, and then launch their own independent ventures.
And did they do it?
They did. They got married, found a modest apartment there in Osim, and they executed that first phase perfectly.
And how did those early years go? Did it work out initially?
Surprisingly, yes. Those first few years were quite stable, very disciplined, actually. Mona was laser-focused. She even put off having children to make sure financial stability came first.
Right, prioritize the plan.
Ahmed opened a small communication hub, what they call a central locally, like a small shop handling prepaid phone services, maybe minimal internet access.
Okay. And Mona?
Mona started working in an existing salon. Smart move, really. Gaining experience, learning the ropes before opening her own place.
So things are stable for a while.
5 years, actually. Then their first son was born. Ahmed Central was doing okay, it was profitable, and eventually Mona realized her dream. She opened her own salon.
Success then, but something must have shifted.
It did. A couple more years pass. Mona, being ambitious, decides she wants to expand her salon. But she hits a wall. Ahmed starts refusing to chip in for the expansion again and again.
Even though his business was making money.
That's the thing. His business was doing well, but the profits, they were vanishing.
Where was the money going?
And this is where that foundation they built just starts to crumble. The dark truth was Ahmed had developed a serious drug habit. He was basically funneling most of his earnings directly into feeding this addiction.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how did Mona react when she found out? Was she concerned about him, about their marriage?
Well, this is the really profound psychological pivot point for Mona. Her concern wasn't his health or their future together, not really. Her fear was purely practical, financial, even competitive.
What do you mean competitive?
She feared instability, yes, but also the terrifying possibility, which is legally permissible there, that Ahmed might use whatever money he had left to take a second wife. That was the ultimate betrayal in her eyes, financially speaking.
So her reaction wasn't to help him get clean or leave.
No, her decision was shocking, really. Instead of fighting his vice, she decided the only way to control the financial outflow, to control him, was to bring the vice, and therefore the supplier, right into their home.
Bring the supplier into the home.
Yes. Which brings us to the third person in this tragedy, Amr.
Amr. Who is he?
Amr was Ahmed's main drug dealer, and bizarrely also described as his closest friend, even though Amr was about 12 years younger than Ahmed.
A dealer and a best friend. Strange combination.
Very. Officially, Amr was a painter by trade. But practically speaking, he was a small-time drug supplier. And Ahmed treated Amr like a treasure, because Amr was his lifeline, his continuous supply.
So Mona invites Amr into their home. What did that look like?
The family home changed overnight. It basically became a nightly drug den. Amr started visiting every single day. He'd arrive around 10 p.m. and stay until 3 a.m.
Every night.
Every night. They'd spend those hours just in continuous drug use sessions. And Mona and the children, they were locked away in another room while this happened.
Locked away. How long did this go on for?
This routine, this silent agreement to just degrade their home environment, it continued for 6 solid months.
6 months, okay. And then the give and take dynamic?
Yeah.
It shifted again.
Yeah. It shifted into high gear. This next phase lasted a full year. Mona, having just become completely accustomed to the smell, the presence of the drugs, everything, she decided to try them herself.
She wanted to try the drugs Amr was bringing for Ahmed.
Yes. But she couldn't really ask Ahmed, could she? So she went straight to the source. She contacted Amr secretly, without Ahmed knowing, and demanded he supply her too.
Demanded?
Yes. And she offered him a significantly higher price than Ahmed was padding. Made it purely about business for Ahmed.
And how do they manage this? The transactions?
It was chillingly mechanical. Mona would hide cash somewhere in the kitchen. During the nightly session, Amr would make some excuse to step out, go to the kitchen, swap the drugs for the money, and then Mona would just retrieve her stash later.
Wow. So the home wasn't just a safe space for using anymore?
No, it proved to Amr it was a perfect, profitable marketplace as well.
And Amr, he saw an opportunity beyond just the money, I'm guessing.
Amr, despite being younger, he understood power dynamics. He was about 5 years younger than Mona, remember? After a year of the secret dealing with her, he clearly wanted more control, more than just cash.
So what did he do?
He played on his supposed trade. He offered to renovate their apartment on the cheap, using his painting skills.
Okay. How does that connect?
Well, he'd work during the day. And Ahmed, conveniently, was out at his central shop during the day. So Amr had access to Mona alone.
Right.
And while he was there, supposedly working, he made his proposition. He offered Mona drugs in exchange for sex.
Wait, just like that? From cash to that?
Just like that. He laid it out, her body for his supply.
And Mona, what did she do?
According to the information we have, she agreed almost instantly, within minutes.
Within minutes? Why? Why so fast?
It's shocking, but you have to look at Mona's core driver: control and securing her resources. By agreeing, she guaranteed 2 things for herself. First, guaranteed access to the drugs she was now addicted to.
Right, the addiction component.
And second, maybe more importantly for her, she gained absolute leverage over Amr, the supplier. The transaction ensured her needs, her drug needs, would always be met no matter what happened with Ahmed's finances.
So she fulfilled her original ambition, resource control, but through utter degradation.
Precisely. It was the ultimate twisted realization of her initial goal.
And what happened next is almost unbelievable in its duration.
It is. That illicit relationship, sex for drugs, it continued almost daily for 3 full years.
3 years. Daily.
Daily. During that entire period, Amr completely stopped asking Mona for money. Her body became the sole currency. It was the purest, most toxic form of that give and take.
A situation like that, it couldn't stay hidden forever, surely.
No, it was bound to blow up. And it finally did. 3 years into this arrangement, Ahmed came home unexpectedly early one day.
And he caught them.
He opened the door and found Mona and Amr together, intimate. Mona said later she fully expected him to explode. Violence, maybe even murder. The typical reaction, right?
Absolutely, but that's not what happened, is it?
Not even close. Amr, the younger dealer, was apparently completely unfazed. He just turned to Ahmed and issued a threat.
What kind of threat?
He warned Ahmed that if he reacted badly, if he made a scene or caused any trouble, Amr would immediately cut off his entire drug supply.
He threatened his drug supply at that moment.
Yes. And Ahmed's response just shows the absolute depth of his addiction. He was subdued. Paralyzed by the fear of withdrawal, of losing his supply, he calmed down instantly.
Instantly. No anger.
His immediate reaction wasn't rage or violence. It was asking Amr for drugs, right then and there, to forget what he'd just walked in on.
That's just the ultimate degradation, isn't it?
It truly is. And the discovery, unbelievably, didn't stop the affair. It actually mutated it into something even more horrifying.
How could it get worse?
The relationship escalated into a coerced threesome. That lasted for another whole year.
A coerced threesome? For a year?
Yes. Amr's control was absolute by this point. He was the puppet master. Reports suggest he would sometimes explicitly demand to start the intimate act with Mona before Ahmed was even allowed to join them.
Just complete domination.
Total. But even in that incredibly low place, the power dynamics were still somehow shifting underneath.
How?
Mona eventually just grew tired of Ahmed. He was providing nothing anymore, financially or otherwise. He was just there, a grain, and she felt empowered now.
Empowered by what? She was crap too, wasn't she?
She was addicted, yes, but she had leverage over Amr through sex, and she controlled access in a way, and she used that perceived leverage to make the final fatal demand.
Which was?
She ordered Amr to kill her husband.
Just like that. Get rid of him.
Get rid of the problem.
And Amr, did he just agree?
Well, his initial reaction was surprisingly rational, almost pragmatic. He pointed out that killing Ahmed seemed pointless. Ahmed already knew everything. He even participated. Why take the massive risk of murder?
That actually makes sense in a twisted way.
It does. But Mona wasn't having it. Her response was a chilling ultimatum.
What did she threaten him with?
She threatened to cut off the sex completely. And she promised she would find a new drug supplier immediately if he didn't comply.
So she used the two things she knew he valued from her sex and the safe haven for dealing.
Exactly. And Amr, knowing her determination, her ruthlessness when she wanted something, he broke. He agreed to do it.
He agreed to kill his friend, his customer.
Yes. And we should note here, the firearm he used was unlicensed. This was 2013 in Egypt, a period with some security vacuum issues, which meant illegal weapons were, unfortunately, easier to come by.
Okay, so they have a plan. How did the actual murder happen?
On the night itself, during their usual late-night session, Amr gave Ahmed an unusually heavy dose of drugs. Enough to make him lose consciousness.
He drugged him into unconsciousness first.
Yes. Then, while Ahmed was out, Amr bound his hands and feet. He then took out the gun and fired the first shot into Ahmed's shoulder.
The shoulder shot again, just like the initial finding.
Right. But Ahmed was still alive. He was struggling against the ropes, apparently. And Mona saw this.
And what did she do?
She wasn't satisfied. She stood over him and demanded that arm fire again. The second, fatal shot. Directly to the head.
She ordered the kill shot.
She did.
And then the disposal.
The cleanup was swift, cold. They put the body into that burlap sack, the same one the villagers found later. They waited until the dead of night when everything was quiet, and then they carried it out and dumped it in those remote farmlands.
Just left him there.
Just left him there.
So how did the police connect it all back to them? It seems like they might have gotten away with it initially.
Well, the situation itself was just too unstable to contain, really. The police noticed pretty quickly that Ahmed's central shop was suddenly closed, but Mona's salon, bizarrely, it stayed open.
What was her explanation?
Her cover story was that Ahmed was away, traveling for business supplies. Plausible, maybe, for a short time.
But not enough.
No. The crucial break, the damning evidence, came from the neighbors. People talk, you know. They confirmed the couple already had this infamous local reputation. But critically, they revealed that Amr had been publicly bragging
Bragging. About what?
about his nightly activities inside Ahmed's house, about his control. It was apparently quite open.
So his own ego did him in.
It certainly helped investigators connect the dots very quickly. With that testimony, both Mona and Amr were brought in for questioning.
And did they hold out?
Not at all. Faced with the witness statements, the evidence, they confessed almost immediately. Laid out the entire horrific sequence of events, right from the drug starting, the affair, the control, the murder plot, the disposal, everything.
And the outcome.
Both were subsequently sentenced to death for the murder.
What a truly terrifying trajectory. I mean, we started back in 1993 with this young woman, Mona, whose financial ambition was so absolute, it seemed to outweigh everything else. Loyalty, love, just looking for a foundation.
And that foundation just corroded, didn't it? It eroded into drug dependency first.
Which then metastasized into this web of absolute sexual and psychological control, betrayal, and ultimately homicide, all driven by this relentless, corrosive, transactional cycle they called give and take.
Yeah, this case is such a horrifying illustration. It's more than just a crime story. It really shows the complete collapse, the disintegration of moral boundaries.
You see that initial shared ambition, wanting a better life.
And you see how it got warped into this cynical, purely transactional dependency, where basic values like partnership, family, trust, they just vanished entirely, replaced only by vice and, well, utility, using each other.
The original accounts of this case apparently included a stark reflection on the sanctity of the home. And this story really forces you to ask, doesn't it? When that shared ambition turns into transactional dependency, when the home itself becomes nothing more than a marketplace for vice,
Yeah.
what boundaries are even left? What's left to protect us from ourselves?
It's a deeply disturbing thought.
Definitely something dark to mull over until our next deep dive.